have to say Satyajit Ray. I've grown up on his films. I've grown up on the things that he's written. I'd say this everywhere. Everything that I imagine as a writer myself is built on his foundation.
Part of my growing up is David Lewan. Suraj Duba hai yaaro. Do kuch nashe ke baare. What do you think is Shoojit Sircar's guiding philosophy?
That people travel more inside than outside.
Yeah, तो बताओ ना, तुम्हारे top 5 favorite directors कौन है?
Top 5 is impossible to do.
I know that you have one director that has influenced you most.
One director who has influenced me the most because I personally think that his work has been incomparable in the genre that he mostly works in. David Fincher. He's my favorite director. A living director, if that makes sense. Yeah. So, Fincher is definitely one of my... Mostly because I respect the fact that he understands that there's no black or white when it comes to why people do certain things. So even when he's portraying psychopaths, he does that in this kind of, I don't want to say humane, but he respects the grey areas. He respects the grey areas in morality and, sociopolitics and all of those things.
Yeah, what's your favorite Fincher film?
Zodiac. Favorite Fincher film of all time, because I think that film really understood the crux of this whole country being obsessed with this one killer, that one killer being obsessed with himself, and then this man who is just crazy about trying to pin that person down. And the whole aspect of this guy knowing to his core that this is the person who has done it, and never being able to properly prove it. That whole crisis of the kind of this legal system clashing with the moral system of this individual, which I think Fincher gets extremely well.
Yeah.
Because even when he's showing, his other films, I'm really looking forward to the film that's coming. That's the film that I'm looking forward to the most.
Right.
This year, apart from Killers of the Flower Moon, of course. Fincher's film is the one that it's coming out in November, I think. And that is precisely why I'm looking forward to it, because I know that he's going to bring that effective Fincher-ness to it, where he's really asking you to not make judgments. He's asking you to look at the context more than the finality of the crime. Yeah, so which is what I respect the most about Fincher.
Yeah. And besides that, who is another director that
lots and lots. I mean, this is why top 5 is very difficult, but again, since true crime or like crime thrillers or mystery thrillers are my favorite genre, Bong Joon-ho, definitely very high, because Memories of Murder and Mother, those are two of my favorite films of all time.
Right.
I think, again, exceptional understanding of moral grey areas. And the reason why I think of these two directors together whenever I'm thinking of crime as a genre in cinema is that to Fincher, a lot of people are driven to do what they do for reasons that they do not understand.
Right.
You see that in a lot of his works.
Correct.
There's a killer who does something out of some kind of internal compulsion, and that compulsion is not explained to you. You just have to make your peace with it. You just have to live with it. Right?
Yeah.
That was the crisis in Seven. But if you remember, there's this one debate that Brad Pitt's character has with Morgan Freeman's character, the
Correct.
cops. And Brad Pitt's character just says that, he must be this crazy man. The killer, he must be this crazy man. And Morgan Freeman immediately stops him and says, but he's doing things extremely methodically. You cannot call him crazy.
Yeah.
You cannot, even if he does things that are morally, again, extremely bad, you cannot say that he's insane in the sense that he does not have any intelligence.
Yeah.
You cannot discredit his intelligence. So yeah, that is something that I really... And also because Bong Joon-ho understands that a lot of people are driven to do certain things circumstantially. They just become, circumstance can be a huge predator. Where that one famous quote that he has, in the end we all live in the same country called capitalism. Which is such... And that core philosophy, you can really see it unifying his body of work.
Yeah.
Which I respect a lot. Tell me your favorites.
So for me, 100% Wong Kar-wai has to be
हाँ.
Somebody who has just been extremely influential in kind of determining the kind of I wouldn't say the kind of film that I want to make. I think that that is not the kind of cinema that I personally want to make, but it's certainly been influential in showing that, you know, just in terms of one theme, which is romance, how there are so many different ways of just showing this one genre, which is romance. And he has shown like these 9 different shades of romance in his different films, you know.
Right.
You know, if In the Mood for Love is about an impossible romance.
Right.
Chungking Express is about being able to find love after a heartbreak.
Yeah.
You know, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And which is something that I really like about Wong Kar-wai कि मतलब है ना, जैसे इम्तियाज अली को बहुत क्रिटिसिज्म मिलता है इस चीज़ के बारे में कि मतलब वो सेम थीम को पकड़ के बार-बार सेम फिल्में बनाते रहते हैं, which I do not
think is actually valid criticism at all.
I do not feel is true. I feel कि उसकी फिल्म में भी बहुत differences होते हैं, distinctions होती हैं.
Yeah, and a lot of directors again have this core philosophy which really informs their idea of what a film should look like.
Yeah.
To say that that is a cliche or that their work is a stereotype is to completely dismiss that they are individuals with certain perspectives towards the world.
Yeah. And you know, one thing that I do feel, because Imtiaz Ali is, I'm glad that we're talking about him, because he has also been, he's somebody that I would say has been really influential for me. Because also, in order to get me interested in cinema in the first place, because I've often spoken about how Tamasha was a film that really kind of motivated me to go after my passion and all that. And also, I just really love that film. Tamasha, Rockstar, Jab We Met, you know, Love Aajkal. I really like all of his films, yeah, and I would say that he's definitely in my top 10, even if I have to say like my top 10 directors, I would 100% put him there. And I also feel like he's a really technically able filmmaker. I also feel that he has really attempted to do a lot of things with the mainstream cinema format that not a lot of other filmmakers have been able to do.
Right.
You know, in terms of how he's telling the story, how he's kind of playing with the editing, you know, intercutting between the past and the present.
I do want to clarify though that when I'm saying that people often consider him to be at fault because he's making films on the same philosophy, and that's not right. I'm not defending his, portrayal of the genders. That's not what I'm defending. But I'm saying that the way he envisions love in a more urban landscape compared to what we had seen in romantic films before, that definitely adds something of value to Indian cinema.
Yeah.
You know, because at the time that he was creating a Jab We Met, or at the time that he was creating, say, Rockstar or any of those films, the criticism that they received because of their portrayal of women, again, you know, there are a lot of reasons to that criticism.
Yeah.
And that's not, I'm not saying that criticism is invalid. वो अलग बात है. Exactly. That his philosophy and his portrayal of, you know, the genders, those are two slightly different, of course, associated with each other.
Yeah.
But slightly different topics. Yeah.
उसने जितना दिया है सिनेमा को in terms of the new kind, the unique techniques that he has given, the cinematography techniques that he has given, the editing techniques that he has given.
Yeah.
मतलब उन्होंने कितना कुछ दिया यार, और मेरे को लगता है कि वो वाली चीज़ें बहुत ज़्यादा स्पेशल बनाती हैं वोंग कर-वाई की फिल्म्स को.
True.
Plus, yeah, I mean, they are just very close to my heart as well.
Yeah.
So Wong Kar-wai, and second I would say, I'll go with an Indian director, and that is Anurag Kashyap.
Right.
Anurag Kashyap is definitely somebody who has been really again, I would say कि उनके सिनेमा का ये हुआ है मेरे साथ कि मैंने इनफैक्ट I would say कि अनुराग कश्यप को बहुत लेट डिस्कवर किया है. Of course, I had seen some Anurag Kashyap films beforehand as well. वासेपुर, नो स्मोकिंग, देवडी, ये सब फिल्में देखी हुई थी पहले, लेकिन फिर वही जब फिर से ये वाली फिल्में देखी, जब मेरे को सिनेमा में ऐसे प्रॉपर थोड़ा एकेडमिक इंटरेस्ट लगा, उसके अंदर गैंग्स ऑफ वासेपुर रिविजिट की, मैंने देवडी रिविजिट की, फिर मैंने रमन राघव देखी, मैंने नो स्मोकिंग फिर से देखी, मैंने 5 देखी, मैंने ब्लैक फ्राइडे देखी, मैंने अगली देखी, अगली थैंक यू फॉर सेइंग अगली, बिकॉज अगली का भी यही है यार कि मतलब आई ऑलवेज कीप इट इन माई top 10, top 15 list. I believe that
top 10 list of Indian cinema?
100%.
Definitely.
Indian cinema तो 100%. पर मैं तो मतलब मतलब वही कि मतलब मैं तो हर किसी को बोलूंगा, अगर आप इंडियन सिनेमा डिस्कवर कर रहे हो फर्स्ट टाइम, वॉच अगली।
हाँ,
अगर आप हिंदी सिनेमा
डार्क है, काफी डार्क है।
अगर आप थ्रिलर्स एक्सप्लोर कर रहे हो तो अगली देखो। अगर आप मतलब बहुत तरीके की थीम्स हैं
Just in terms of moral corruption and overlapping narratives, it's such a fine.
There's so many amazing things coming together at the right time, in the right way.
Yeah.
And Ugly is fantastic, and same goes for मनमर्जियाँ। ठीक है, मेरे को लगता है कि अनुराग कश्यप की बाकी, क्योंकि बाकी उन्होंने क्राइम थ्रिलर वगैरह इतनी बनाई है, मनमर्जियाँ जैसी फिल्म्स को उतना क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता, पर मेरा मतलब आई लव मनमर्जियाँ सो मच, सच इट्स अ फिल्म दैट्स सो क्लोज टू माय हार्ट।
हाँ,
बिकॉज अनुराग कश्यप की क्या चीज़ खास है ना, जो तुमने फिंचर के बारे में बात बोली, थोड़ा सा सिमिलर है, और हम लोग इस बारे में बात कर रहे थे। बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ है कि उन्होंने अपनी प्रोडक्शन हाउस का नाम रखा है गुड बैड फिल्म्स। और एक्चुअली अगर हम सोच के देखें कि अनुराग कश्यप की फिल्मों का थीम वही है कि हर कैरेक्टर में गुड भी है और बैड भी है, और वो इसी थीम को एक्सप्लोर करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं हर फिल्म के अंदर, किसी न किसी तरीके से। ब्लैक फ्राइडे इस चीज़ के बारे में है कि चाहे वो कोई भी कैरेक्टर हो, चाहे वो अपना आदित्य श्रीवास्तव में, राइट?
I think
जो अभी जो CID फ्रॉम अभिजीत फ्रॉम CID नेम इज आदित्य श्रीवास्तव ना, सम्राज आदित्य श्रीवास्तव के जो कैरेक्टर है ब्लैक फ्राइडे में, again you know we are led to believe that he's this terrorist who is bad, but then we are compelled to kind of look at the context, see some circumstances from his perspective, and we get to know so much more. KK Men's character, चाहे पुलिस का कैरेक्टर हो, किसी का भी कैरेक्टर हो, मतलब हम तुम जैसे ही किसी की भी तरफ एम्पैथी रखना स्टार्ट करोगे, साथ के साथ वो तुम्हें दिखा देंगे कि भाई कोई भी इंसान ठीक नहीं है। अगली पूरी फिल्म इस चीज़ के बारे में, इसलिए उसका नाम अगली है।
Exactly.
मतलब nobody is good, nobody is bad, everyone is a little ugly and everyone is a little nice. पर ये वाली चीज़ ऑफ कोर्स देवडी, रमन राघव, ये सब फिल्में इसी चीज़ के बारे में है। पर आप फिर फिल्म देखो मनमर्जियाँ, जो कि एक रोमांटिक ड्रामा है टेक्निकली, पर उस फिल्म के अंदर उन्होंने कितनी कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी दिखाई है, कितनी मॉरल कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी दिखाई है। अभिषेक बच्चन के कैरेक्टर में, तापसी पन्नू के कैरेक्टर में, विक्की कौशल के कैरेक्टर में, कोई भी कैरेक्टर में परफेक्ट नहीं है। हर कैरेक्टर फ्लॉड है, हर कैरेक्टर में कमियां हैं, और उन कमियों को कॉल आउट भी किया है, पर साथ ही साथ
exactly and also the very good
and also one another thing, मनमर्जियाँ वही, मतलब उनकी सारी फिल्मों में कहीं ना कहीं दिखेगा। मनमर्जियाँ में गाने ग्रे वाला शेड,
हाँ,
काला ना सफेद है, इश्क दे रंग यार, ग्रे वाला शेड है। मतलब वही, मतलब he is really obsessed with this idea of grayness. Grayness, ugliness in the human psyche.
Yeah. Also, but the other thing that I was going to point out about both Fincher I have noticed more, because I've watched this very obsessively, is that when he's telling you that this is the good thread in this person, or when he's showing a good thread in a person or a bad thread in a person, he's not even usme bhi itne nuance mein he'll go where he will not say that this is objectively good. He's saying this is contextually good.
Yeah.
Which is a huge nuance in Fincher's cinema. He's not just saying that a person is made out of bad and good. He's saying a person just is. Circumstantially, they're either good or bad. Or there may be a mixture of good or bad.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Which is an even...
मतलब वो ये बोल रहा है एक तरीके से कि भाई under the right circumstances or wrong circumstances, anyone could be a bad person or a good person.
Anyone could be a bad person or a good person. Or even that is more Bong Joon-ho, I think, than Fincher. But Fincher's thing is that sometimes things just are, There's this horrible thing that has been committed, and it just is.
I know what you mean.
You have to go on with your life. This kind of realization that you come to when you're watching his films, that is the great gift of that experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, Fincher definitely one. If I had to pick one Indian director whose films I love because I think he's got range, he's got amazing range, Shoojit Sircar. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's never directed the same story twice. Every film that he's directed is in a different genre altogether. Piku is not the same as Sardar Udham. Sardar Udham is not the same as Vicky Donor. All of these completely different genres, completely different characters. This man has such a great understanding of the universal human emotions that he knows what binds these characters and makes them human and roots them.
Yeah.
And this ability to steer through so many different genres. It's such a rare quality because again, we were just talking about directors who have one guiding force attempt. We were talking about directors who have one guiding philosophy. And I'm sure he does too. But he camouflages it really well, Again, and he's one of those people, he's very invested in character arcs. More than
I'm invested in the food right now.
Yeah, more than what I'm saying. Like always, which is fine, I learned to live with it anyway.
But what do you think is Shoojit Sircar's guiding philosophy? If you had to guess one, let's say.
That people travel more inside than outside. I think that's his guiding philosophy. If I had to pick one strand from all his films that's common, is that the internal journey is constant.
Wow, yeah, very well put.
I think that's his, yeah. And I think some of his work is really not understood completely. I mean, Sardar Udham, again, I feel like it is underwatched. I think it's an exceptionally well-made film.
Yeah.
And for a film to completely understand anger, it's that film. It understands this man's anger and his indignation at this injustice that he's been made to go through.
Yeah.
You know, and for that anger to simmer and this man to just have to live with it for so many years, I think 2 decades, right? He struggled to contain it until he burst. And so yeah, I think he's definitely one of my favorite directors. Yeah, top 5.
तुम्हारे हो गए हैं अभी Bong Joon-ho,
हाँ,
David Fincher,
हाँ,
Shoojit Sircar,
3.
Celine Sciamma.
Celine Sciamma, yeah, definitely. Again, wonderful. And I think Celine Sciamma, again, excellent eye for a frame. She has a very good understanding of how to portray the people in her stories, where it's both very humanized, but it's almost like a painting. Like if you see Petit Maman or you see The Portrait of a Lady on Fire, both of those films, or Water Lilies for that matter, exceptionally well filmed. Exceptionally well filmed. And very great understanding of desire, you know. She has this one beautiful saying where she says, and because she directs a lot of films about people discovering desire, discovering identity and those things, she says this beautiful thing that the beauty of love, it's something like that, I'm paraphrasing it of course, I mean what she had said was far more collected than whatever I'm about to say. But she says this thing where, you know, the beauty of lovers is that they invent a language.
Wow.
Right, and that's what she is trying to capture. You know, the framing of it almost becomes the language between these two people. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Celine Sciamma. I mean, listen, I have to say Satyajit Ray. Has to be Satyajit Ray. I've grown up on his films. I've grown up on the things that he's written. I say this everywhere, that everything that I imagine as a writer myself is built on his foundation. He's a part of my growing up.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I've gone back to his films for studying, for writing papers, but I've also gone back to his films for comfort. Yeah. So I've seen his children's films and realized that there's much more to them.
Yeah.
Than what. So yeah, again.
Part of my growing up is David Dhawan. I wish.
Which?
मैं ऐड कर पाऊँ उनको.
But top 5 में David Dhawan. Yeah.
मैं 2 बोल चुका हूँ अपने. मेरे हो चुके हैं Wong Kar-wai and Anurag Kashyap.
हाँ.
My third would be Krzysztof Kieślowski.
Right.
Again, a director that I discovered really late in my life, but somebody who has now become this light. मतलब मैंने एक बार लिखा भी था, मतलब वो एक पता नहीं उनकी फिल्म में गाइडिंग लाइट जैसी बन गई है मेरे लिए.
हाँ.
कि मतलब.
You told me.
Yeah, मतलब I don't know. मतलब when I see his films, I just feel so connected to his world, to what he's trying to say, and you know, in every film. उनका वही बहुत सिंपल है, मतलब उसकी फिल्म्स में ना, मतलब कोई एक पर्टिकुलर ह्यूमन मतलब ह्यूमन साइकिल का कोई एक पर्टिकुलर एस्पेक्ट होगा, कभी गिल्ट, कभी लस्ट, कभी शेम, और वो एक थीम पे बिल्ड करेंगे पूरा. यू नो, फॉर एग्जांपल 3 Colors Red.
हाँ.
It is essentially a film about guilt.
Yeah.
Of course, then it goes on to become this film about this relationship between this young girl and this.
Samraj is getting spoilers. And tell him the last frame. Tell him the last frame.
This is not a spoiler at all. It's not a spoiler at all.
You don't like knowing anything about the film, right? You just like going into it blind like that. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. और पता है जो किस्लोव्स्की वगैरह टाइप के फिल्म मेकर्स की फिल्म्स हैं, जो कि एक तरीके से है ही पूरी मूड के बारे में. मतलब it's not as much about the plot as it is about, you know, just things being.
Which is a particular movement in cinema, right? That there's no proper narrative like we see in cinema, and it instead just follows.
Correct. Yeah, 100%. मतलब बहुत कम चीजें होती हैं प्लॉट वाइज, बहुत कम
चीजें होती है प्लॉट वाइज. This is one
dramatic shift.
Yeah.
But no, पर this Three Colors Red में it is essentially about guilt, even though this relationship builds between this girl and this old man. But उस कहानी के अंदर से भी जब तुम्हें समझ आता है कि essentially even this story was about guilt, was about regret,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And it all makes sense, like the way that it all connects together. It is really, really special. Double Life of Veronique. It is about
Oh yeah, what a wonderful.
one of my favorite films of all time.
Yeah.
कुछ फिल्म्स होती हैं हर इंसान अपने तरीके से इंटरप्रेट कर सकता है.
True.
हर फिल्म का यही है बल्कि कि मतलब तुम हर फिल्म को अपने अपने तरीके से इंटरप्रेट कर सकते
because they don't have this larger story. And I tell you one director with, I mean, I really wish by top 5 you meant like top 500, because that would have been easier to do. But one of my favorite directors is Chantal Akerman.
हो. Yeah.
And a lot of her films
Just
have exactly, they're just looking at this one character, right? So, and a lot of people react like that to her cinema. I don't know, you know,
yeah.
what does this mean?
हाँ.
What was the point? But the point is that there's not meant to be one particular point that the story is linearly driving itself towards, because human life is not like that.
Yeah.
If you pick apart, 2 days from a person's life, it wouldn't make any sense in terms of larger narrative structure. Nobody knows the larger narrative structure to our lives.
Yeah.
But in those 2 days, if you really were to concentrate on the moments, there's a lot of cinema in it.
Yeah.
And that is basically what she's trying to... And of course, she's this very austere, almost matter-of-fact director. That's her. But yeah, definitely one of my... So I understand what you're saying in terms of Kieślowski. Yeah.
मतलब 2 और डायरेक्टर्स हैं जो कि मतलब इस वाले पर्टिकुलर टाइप ऑफ सिनेमा में आते हैं. मतलब क्रिस्टियन मिंग्यू,
हाँ,
right, was made 4 months, 3 weeks and 2 days.
2 days.
His cinema is a lot like that. बस characters को follow करना, where again not a lot of action is happening, but just by following 2 characters in an extreme circumstance, he is just saying a lot about the world that they live in. Again, Sang-soo.
Oh yes.
So little is happening.
Yeah.
But again, like character studies हैं, मतलब 2 या 3 दिन के अंदर वो character को follow कर रहा है और हाँ मतलब बस कुछ कहने की कोशिश नहीं कर रहा. He's not making some huge commentary, पर तुम अपना इन्फ्लुएंस निकाल लो कि क्या हो रहा है.
हाँ.
किस्लोव्स्की की फिल्मों में उन दोनों की फिल्मों से कहीं ज़्यादा होता है. लेकिन डबल लाइफ ऑफ वेरोनिक फॉर एग्जाम्पल, फॉर मी, फॉर अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल, डबल लाइफ ऑफ वेरोनिक का ये होगा कि भाई
They really committed to the chocolate
yeah
in this cold coffee shake. Okay, anyway, हाँ.
Double Life of Veronique for me is a film that is about this nothingness that just exists inside us, and we are unable to pinpoint and we are unable to point out कि ये nothingness कहाँ से आ रही है. You know?
Yeah.
कि मतलब उसने इस चीज़ का इन्फ्लुएंस ये निकाला है कि मतलब ये कोई एक सोल सिस्टर टाइप का कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट है. सेम दिखने वाला इंसान, सेम नाम वाला इंसान, और शायद वो इंसान तुम्हारा अदर हाफ है, एंड बिकॉज दैट पर्सन इज गेटिंग अफेक्टेड. मतलब वो जुड़वा वाली कहानी है वैसे. लेकिन जुड़वा वाली कहानी को सो या डबल लाइफ ऑफ मतलब जुड़वा वाज टेक्निकली द डबल लाइफ ऑफ प्रेम. That was
okay.
Judwaa.
Before people start really coming at you, but no, you're right. I mean, 2 different people can build on the same single line and create 2 completely different films. So yeah, in that respect, it's definitely cool.
Your favorite director?
Yeah, I really like David Dhawan. He's haunted by David Dhawan in ways that he did not think he would be.
No. See, honestly speaking, David Dhawan's films used to be damn funny as a kid, right? And Partner.
But that's the thing, they are so damn funny.
Yeah.
They, if you're watching his films, honestly, if you just want to switch off everything,
Yeah.
and you just want to relax and laugh.
Yeah, see, as a kid, like David Dhawan's films were the films that also kind of got us interested in films in the first place. Like for me especially, because TV.
Not for
I
me,
mean,
not for
yeah, but for me as a Hindi film watcher, TV पे आती थी David Dhawan की फिल्में.
हाँ.
तो भाई मतलब हम लोग तो देखते थे बैठ के, मजा आता था. दुल्हे राजा was one of the first films I saw on the big screen.
Right. So he's definitely in your top 5.
Top 1.
Top
Favorite
1.
director.
Only, yeah. David Dhawan.
David Dhawan.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of people don't know, but David Dhawan is actually an FTI graduate. He's an FTI graduate, studied editing at FTI.
Yeah.
A course that Rajkumar Hirani also studied at FTI. A course that Sanjila Bansali also studied at FTI.
Yeah.
So many of these great mainstream filmmakers of India used to study editing at FTI.
Yeah.
First edited for some time in the industry, and then went on to become these
Filmmakers.
big
Giants,
mainstream
yeah.
filmmakers.
Themselves.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. coming back, and actually if you go back and see David Dhawan's edited films, जो फिल्में edit करी हैं, उन्होंने before he became a filmmaker, they were all like really good films, you know, really like technically able films.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And there's a particular kind of cinema that he set out to make himself.
Yeah.
And he did that unabashedly.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean, are the dynamics really strange in BB number 1? Yes, they are.
In all of his films, you know.
Yeah.
Not,
No, BB number 1, I'm just saying, you know, there's one instance.
yeah.
But yeah, again.
Who else was there? Park Chan-wook. Park Chan-wook. Park Chan-wook is another filmmaker.
In your top 5?
100% यार.
Okay.
क्योंकि पार्क चैन-वुक का मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ.
अच्छा, वैसे सच में डेविड धवन काउंट कर रहे हैं?
नहीं.
अच्छा, ओके.
वो तो ऐसे.
मैं अभी कंफ्यूज हो गया. There is so much David Dhawan we've done.
पार्क चैन-वुक का मैं बोलूँगा कि maybe the only director in the world who has mastered the art of making great cinema mainstream. मतलब he knows how to sell just great cinema. And maybe that is something that comes naturally to him. Matlab, those swift shots come naturally to him. That swift pace that's in this film, that probably comes naturally to him.
Yeah.
The kind of relationships that he explores, which are really palatable. Not palatable for sure.
Yeah, not palatable or digestible.
Not digestible for sure. But still
difficult to forget. Yeah, difficult to forget and very consuming.
Very consuming. Yeah, that's the right word. कि मतलब कोई भी इंसान होगा ही नहीं जो कि उनकी फिल्में देखेगा और बोलेगा कि यार ये क्या देख लिया, क्योंकि इतना मसाला है. मतलब आई थिंक मसाला इज द राइट वर्ड. मतलब बहुत मसालेदार फिल्में हैं. आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि आप मेन स्ट्रीम बॉलीवुड फिल्म देख रहे हो. ट्रू. लाइक बाय मेन स्ट्रीम बॉलीवुड आई मीन प्रोबब्ली अ फिल्म लाइक मतलब मनमोहन देसाई वगैरह टाइप की जो फिल्में होती थी इन टर्म्स ऑफ मसाला. आपको ऐसा लगेगा वो वाले तरीके की फिल्म देख रहे हो. लेकिन द शॉट टेकिंग, यू नो, द राइटिंग, द डेप्थ, द लेयर्स जो कि है पार्क चैन-वुक की फिल्मों में, द अमाउंट ऑफ एफर्ट दैट हैज बीन पुट इन, द सेट डिजाइन, द सिनेमेटोग्राफी, you know, everything about his cinema is just perfect to me, and at the same time it is so commercial. I think जितना मैंने लोगों से बात करी है, मेरे हिसाब से इंडिया में हैंडमेडन देखने वाले ज़्यादा लोग होंगे कंपेयर टू जितने लोगों ने स्कॉर्सेज़े की फिल्म देखी होंगी. जितना लेसन ऑन फैक्ट. The reason for that of course is the you know
the kind of content that Handmaiden has visually,
all the sex in Handmaiden obviously makes for really massy cinema, especially in India. Again, a very heavy film in terms of stuff that happens, the amount of sex that's there. Also psychology. No. You're not. It's not just the visual aspect of it. You're really not prepared for the amount of sex.
Yeah, you're not prepared.
But it is genuinely essential to the plot. It is genuinely essential to the plot. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's
it is not just there for the sake of it.
Yeah, he's truly mastered this art of smuggling great art into what is obviously crafted for mainstream consumption. Which is a very rare quality. Also, you know, we were talking about Indian directors, and one director, of course, Zoya Akhtar is great. She's absolutely wonderful. But one director who I really wish made more films is Farhan Akhtar.
Yeah.
He has a great sense of humor. He has a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
And you see that reflected in his films.
4 films.
Yeah.
4 films is made, right?
Yeah. Because I think Dawn 2.
4 great films.
Yeah, Dawn 2, for what it's worth, is one of the best in terms of an action thriller and a heist thriller. It's so well directed.
Yeah.
Right? And it really,
100%.
beautifully charismatic.
Yeah. बना रहा है ना वो फिल्म जीले जरा
बना रहा है, हाँ. But I really wish he made more, is what I'm saying.
100% यार, 100%. Park Chan-wook की Thirst is another Park Chan-wook film that I love. Sympathy for Mrs. Vengeance. Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Lady Vengeance.
Trilogy.
Vengeance
basically,
trilogy.
yeah. Again, great.
And then there is...
I'm a cyborg, but that's okay.
I'm a cyborg, but that's okay. I'm a cyborg, but that's okay.
Which is one of the, if you guys are getting into the film, one of the best yodeling scenes outside of Kishore Kumar. Honestly, nobody has yodeled that well.
Yeah.
In South Asian cinema. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best tunes if you want like a really wacky.
But I'm a cyborg, but that's okay is probably his most different film compared to the rest of his filmography.
Yeah, but that's his thing. He'll make he'll just whip out a completely different.
Decision to Leave is also very different from the rest of his films.
Yeah. Perhaps the most like the least mainstream.
It's not as mainstream, but got the most amount of popularity.
Yeah, so funny.
Because of the popularity that he already got.
Yeah.
And the fifth one for me would be Mira Nair. As soon as I saw Monsoon Wedding, I was just so blown away. I was so floored by just how layered that film was, how beautiful that film was. Everything about that film is just so perfect. And then the kind of कितना उसने influence किया Indian cinema को, Hindi cinema को in the last 25 years, 25 years of its release. No, not 25, 23 years.
Right.
22, 23 years. तो हाँ यार मतलब just first Monsoon Wedding and then Namesake, which has now become one of my favorite films of all time.
Yeah.
Salam Bombay, Mississippi Masala.
And Salam Bombay, definitely. What a wonderful one.
Yeah. And so Salam Bombay is so different from the rest of her films.
Exactly. I was going to say, it's completely different from the rest of her.
Even though the later, I think she made one film with Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh yes.
Which was very similar to Salam Bombay.
I haven't
in some ways.
seen it, but I know that a film like that.
I mean, I haven't seen it either, but just from the trailer and the promo, that felt like that is probably a film that was closest to Salam Bombay. But the rest of the films, even Kama Sutra for that matter, Kama Sutra, the film that she made with Rekha was in it. Kama Sutra also, I mean, the film obviously got banned and everything, and people think that it's just a film about that was just trying to peddle sex or whatever. But again, it's actually a really, really wonderful film, So yeah, Mira Nair would definitely be in my top 5 as well. I just love the gentleness that's there in her films. Just the, it feels like even if her films have some of her films have some complex themes, or I mean some discomforting themes. For example, Monsoon Wedding obviously has that very discomforting arc, right? But still, I mean, just the way that she crafts her films, it really, really warms your heart, and it really kind of soothes your soul in a lot of ways.
Right.
So, yeah, those are my top 5. तो हाँ मतलब खैर पॉइंट ये है कि लिस्ट ये तो कभी खत्म नहीं होगी, लेकिन हाँ मतलब हम लोगों ने अपने से टॉप मेन हम लोगों ने
5 फिर भी हाँ exactly top 5 फिर भी we have done
and I feel like I am very happy with the ones that I named.
Well, you went top 500 and we are tied for top 500.
Yeah. Chalo, for that matter.
So yes,
this has been a fun chat.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Right here from the heart of Delhi in Majnu-ka-tilla.
Is this the heart of Delhi?
No, not really.
Okay. I don't know where. Okay.
The neck of Delhi, maybe.
Let's not, attribute it to any part of LA.
Cool.
Okay.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Bye.
Yeah, we have the Korean.
We have
the Korean. It's a Korean restaurant, yeah. It's a Korean restaurant.